Oh, hello. You there. Did you know you can bike in winter in Chicago? Really? I mean you. I believe in you. I'm going to show you the basics of winter biking in Chicago. Hi, I'm Victor, and in early February I bought some studded tires thinking it's gonna snow a whole lot and I'm definitely gonna need them, and I could show you guys what winter biking's really like. Turns out I was dead wrong. We had absolutely no snow for about a month, and finally we have a little bit today, so I'm here to show you guys what winter biking really looks like and what it entails. And it turns out it's a lot easier than you think. So let's get started. So first, I actually have all of the gear that I need for winter biking on me or in my bag today. And I'm not just talking about today's weather, but even colder than today. It's about 28 degrees Fahrenheit, some amount of number Celsius, and it's really pretty pleasant. Let's talk about some gear. If you have the gear that you need to go on a long walk, you already have everything it takes to bike in a winter city like Chicago. Right now, I'm just wearing a coat. I have a hat that I'll put in under my helmet and some thick skiing gloves. The thing is, when you're biking, you're working your body. So your core actually stays warmer than you think, but it's your extremities that get cold. So gloves are really essential, and thick boots to make sure that you're comfortable on your feet, and even wool socks if it gets really cold. But other than that, you don't need a whole lot. Some people do get bar mitts to put over their handlebars, which can help cut the wind and make it so you don't have to wear as thick gloves to stay comfortable.
One quick thing I forgot to mention is actually fenders, which keep the slush and snow off of you and are key to a winter riding setup.
I mean, let's be honest, it's getting warmer and warmer. There's been a few days where it's been 60 degrees in December, rainy around Christmas, and although it's snowing today, it hasn't snowed for a month. Winter in Chicago, just like a lot of places, isn't one thing. There's some days that are really cold where it's not safe to even drive or walk, and you're probably not gonna be biking those days. But most days are somewhere in between. It's in the 20s, it's in the 30s, maybe you have some snow, and you can probably be out riding. So let's be honest, if you don't feel comfortable riding in those conditions, that's okay. But I promise, it's not as hard as you think. So we've talked about some basic gear. Now let's talk about maintenance. Maintenance is actually one of the biggest things when it comes to winter riding because the salt especially can be really tough on your bike. But honestly, a simple rag wipe down after a slushy ride will really help save your bike from the salt and the corrosion and keep it going a little bit better and longer. Also, make sure you wipe down your chain with a degreaser a little more frequently and re-lube it, especially when you're riding through all that muck. And lastly, my mechanic suggested that since I have disc brakes, that I use some alcohol in the brake pads to keep it from glazing, which is something that had happened due to some really tough riding last winter. So some people do prefer to have a beater bike. We've interviewed someone who did that, and that makes it a little easier so you don't have to stress about your nice bike getting beat up during winter riding, or you can even ride divvy. But it's not that bad. The last thing to talk about with winter biking is safety. You know, in the winter, the biggest issue is actually the darkness. The sun sets sooner, and you have to make sure, absolutely, you have front and rear lights on your bike so that people can see you. Reflectors are also key. And don't go out without them. Even if it's early in the day, sometimes the sun can set at 5 p.m., so you don't want to be caught without them. And in terms of road conditions, you really want to play things by ear to make sure that you're comfortable and that you know how to handle your bike in tough conditions. Start maybe in a park like this, and make sure that you're comfortable if you lose a bit of traction, and take things slow, maybe lower your seat so you can plant your feet, do stuff that makes you comfortable. And also remember that if the bike lane is not clear, you are allowed to take the full lane of traffic. I was biking to a bar when it was really snowy and visibility was quite poor, and I just sat in the lane behind the wheel marks of cars. Everyone was going about 20 miles an hour, it was totally fine. No one really got annoyed. The city is supposed to plow protected bike lanes, and they generally do a good job, but it can take a few days because they have a limited fleet. And sometimes you may find that a bike lane is plowed and then there's a snowbank at the end or a car blocking your exit. So keep an eye out. Otherwise, you might have to haul your e-bike across the snowbank because a delivery driver decided to block your exit. Ask me how I know. Now, a few extra things. If you're biking in really cold conditions, like I tend to do, because biking is a key part of making this channel happen, you might need a little bit of extra gear. The main thing I would recommend is if it gets really, really cold, a ski mask can be helpful. Protect your face and cover more of your skin so you're not exposed. Next, some ski goggles. These can be really helpful to make sure that wind isn't getting in your eyes and that you can still see clearly, especially if there's a lot of snow. But it can reduce your peripheral vision, so use caution and ideally get some higher grade ski goggles that have a wider field of view. Lastly, I like having a bike hat, like this one from Rafa, which I can put on and is quite thin so that it can slip on underneath a helmet. That keeps my ears warm without having to wear something heavy that would prevent me wearing a helmet altogether. So this is really a better idea than getting just a big hat and wearing that and not wearing your helmet. You want to make sure you're still protected in case of a crash. And one more thing, if it is really cold, you might want to consider some extra layers, like a thermal on top or some leggings or long johns under your jeans. That will keep you nice and cozy even if you're doing an extended ride, or if, like me, you're standing in a park talking to yourself, looking at a camera. Okay, and there's one more thing that helps if you're really gonna be doing some serious winter riding. Studded tires. These ones come from Perennial Cycles up in Minneapolis. They shipped them over to me, so thank you to them. They have deeper grooves to make sure that slush and snow can get out of your way, and also have these little studs that lock into ice, making it really helpful if you're going down an icy road or hit a random patch of ice, or if you're doing something crazy and stupid like biking through a snowy park or biking across a wintry lake. I haven't done the second thing, but honestly, at this rate, I'm probably going to. Okay, and one more tip. If you're gonna be outside for a long time, always helps to have a good cup of coffee and a cookie. In all seriousness, having a warm drink can be really helpful if you're, say, meeting a friend in a park and you're gonna be waiting around a long time. So, always recommend it, and if you're doing some filming like me, it's extra helpful. Now, if you excuse me, I think I have some biking to do. Well, it wouldn't be a winter biking video if there was no winter biking now, would there? And we have a friend. This trail is pretty well maintained, but you can see there's a little snow ahead. But luckily with some studded tires, we're gonna handle it just fine. A little ice that I can feel under there, but just like the person in front of us, we're doing just fine. I know winter's coming to a close, but a lot of people kept saying that you can only bike a few months out of the year in Chicago, or you can't bike in winter, so what's the point of having bike lanes anyway? But you can, and it's not as scary as you think. You, and I mean you, really can bike in Chicago. Your core stays warm, you just need some basic winter gear, you'll be good to go. If you are pushing it, you're gonna do a lot, studded tires and extra stuff like that can help, but you really don't need much to get out on most winter days. It's only those really cold days that you're gonna be pushing it, and those are getting fewer and fewer every year. So, get out there, get riding, and have some fun.
Thanks for watching that video. I hope it helps you get out and riding even when it's a little colder during the winter. If you enjoyed it, make sure to send it to a friend who you would go winter biking with. And I am definitely not a winter biking or maintenance expert, so I'm going to link some videos in the description to give you some extra information if you're looking for more winter gear or more maintenance tips from some actual mechanics. And if you have some other tips or suggestions or even questions, make sure to leave them in the comments.